Welcome to the BumbleKast. I'm your host, Ian Flynn, the Bumble King, and joining me as always is my Bumble co-host, Kyle, JCRB Krause.
Oh, Ian, we're doing this again. It's again. Mm-hmm. Oh man,
6th straight month after God, how many straight years?
2015. It's when we started. I don't know if you remember that. I don't remember 2015 at all.
Well, we've got the momentum on our side. Let's just keep on rolling, answering questions that come from our patrons over at patreon.com/BumbleKast, Ko-fi.com/BumbleKast, and our YouTube members.
I suppose we can do that. I guess we'll stop wasting time, too, and just jump right on into it with this one from 4Sonic Fan. Me and a friend were wondering something. What would Scourge's favorite movie or movie genre be, and why?
Probably your classic slasher flick.
Flick?
Flick. I mean, he'd probably read a fic as well, you know.
Scourge's favorite slash fic? Is that what we're going
on? Given some of the names he carved on that table. But, nah. Like a movie centering around some singular omnipotent force tracking down and just brutalizing a bunch of idiots. Nah, it's like how he envisions his life.
I figured he'd like, John Wick. John Wick gets slow at some points. But man, the parts that are not slow are pretty impressive. Yeah,
but he'd be like, I could do that. I could take him. No problem. What is this?
Or maybe
slasher fic.
Maybe something more like Shoot 'em Up, which is a constant onslaught of ridiculousness. Something like that.
But you got people on opposite ends of the room going pew pew at each other. But there's no thrill of getting in there and like actually busting somebody's face up with your own knuckles.
Have you seen Shoot 'em Up? It's pretty brutal.
I have not, so maybe I don't know what I'm talking about.
Well, it happens sometimes.
I thought you meant Shoot 'em Up as a genre.
No. I mean the movie Shoot 'em Up. Yes. That is a real movie. Yes. Yeah. It's pretty wild. All right, here's one from Alex KR. It's a bit of a long one, so buckle in. Dear Ian, I'm concerned. What if the Freedom Fighters shouldn't come back? Now that they've made a clean breakaway from them, it would seem rather counterintuitive for Sega to suddenly revisit either Archie or SatAM stories, unless, perhaps, it could be treated as its own detached thing from the current series. If instead the Freedom Fighters would have to be brought back in such a way that can't smell of old continuities, stinky, then would many of the fans who've been asking for these characters' return be truly satisfied by getting an all new set of characters who just so happen to be wearing the Freedom Fighters' faces, but aren't ones who can ever return or allude to any of the stories that they were once part of? I understand that Archie and SatAM have a lot of love behind them, and that getting these few names onto the official roster is the least we can do to try and give those things a lasting legacy. As it is said, though, no good deed goes unpunished. Will you be ready to navigate the inevitable stream of questions regarding everything that these characters may have to do now in IDW that might not be consistent with what previous versions of them have done before? Or deal with the confusion that could result from trying to weave old extended media back into the modern-day canon? I have great faith in the IDW team's ability, but I'd hate to see our current era of steadily improving media cohesion risk taking any unnecessary steps backwards.
Well, we've covered this topic multiple times on the show. If they come back, then there will be things to address. And if they don't come back, well, they don't come back. They had a good run. They've been retired. So it goes. If they do come back, I am 99% sure they will be new incarnations. Something that is truly unadulterated, inarguably Sega Sonic incarnations of any of them, if whoever makes the cut. I mean, some might get picked up again and some might stay retired. Who knows? I would be gobsmacked if we could actually reference anything of the old continuities. I don't think that's even worth considering at this point. So they would be, if my prediction is correct, then they would be wholesale new, inspired by what came before, sure, but wholly and legally distinct from what came before. The big question is, would the folks who want the freedom fighters back be satisfied with that. And I don't have an answer for you. I think that the fandom is varied enough that there will be no consensus. Some would prefer that they stay retired as they were. Some don't want them to come back at all, ever. Some just want to see them have some other shot at life, whatever form that takes. There is no way I'm pleasing everybody with that one, assuming I'm even involved with that project. Man, wouldn't it be ironic after all of this? Oh, I will do what I can, and I'm off Sonic when they finally come back. The discourse on that'll be tiresome. It's not something being worth really worrying over at this point because there's no movement that I know of one way or the other. And whatever does happen will be there will be a lot of cooks in that kitchen, and we'll just see what comes of it.
Too many cooks, if I know anything about the corporate world. This one's from Alphamon or Yukon. Eggman decides enough is enough and takes his entire egg armada to space. His mission? Colonize Mars. How long would it take him to do so, and how much would he rub it in Elon's face?
I mean, Mars is uninhabited, so he'd have that, terraformed within a month.
A week, maybe.
Olympus eggs. I mean, entire continents rendered into car parks. Nothing would stand in his way. And he would absolutely gloat to everyone and definitely establish himself as the true genius who actually gets things done.
Yep. Andrew D has a question. So apparently Sonic Mania takes place at some point on Angel Island during the beginning of Sonic Mania's Encore mode. If that's the case, maybe you can make some sense of some things. At what point does it pick up again? Does adventures happen before Mighty and Ray get captured? Does the bonus episode with the Snow, Amy, and Metal Sonic also happen during this time? And if so, how much time went by for it to start snowing, unless that simply took place in a snowy area? And how does Metal Sonic get stuck on Little Planet again after Mania adventures in time for his rescue in Encore mode? Or is this all still being worked out?
All generally being worked out, although I think it's safe to assume that a fair amount of time has passed if it can snow in a tropical region. I think it's implied that time had passed by the winter episode or Christmassy episode or holiday episode, however you want to define it.
That's funny because time doesn't pass in Sonic's world. So
yeah, except when it does.
Well,
I don't know for sure which path is considered the most canon, Encore mode or Mania Adventures, because they both start with Sonic returning from forces.
Mm-hmm.
And when does Metal Sonic get stuck on Little Planet again? Well, when we make the clear bridging event between classic and modern, which is never going to happen, so don't worry about it.
It's just like the transition between Mega Man Classic and Mega Man X. You're never going to see it, never going to happen, never going to be explained. Oh no. And Tails has a question. In every voice actor preference poll conducted on r/Sonic the Hedgehog, to my memory, Jason Griffith always comes out on top, even as recently as our big yearly survey we conducted in early 2023 at the height of Frontiers' popularity. As someone who believes Griffith best captured the essence of the character, this fills me with delight, but it's also surprising to me that Griffith, a voice actor who hasn't played Sonic in over a decade, is still very popular with the fan base. What are your thoughts on this phenomenon? For what it's worth, roughly 75% of the subreddit users are Zoomers, per our recent survey, making the findings all the more interesting. Thanks. Well, I think you figured it out. I mean, there's a correlation there, I think, and it probably is also causation.
Just checking up on some of the links provided here, it looks like there were a little over 800 votes in that poll, which is hardly 1%, if even that, of the greater Sonic fandom. So it's certainly a number of voices to be considered. I'm not trying to be dismissive, but just saying the one sub forum on Reddit, that is not a large bit of sample data. That's one very small echo chamber on the internet. So I'm not saying that to throw out anyone's opinions or to poo-poo Mr. Griffith himself. He did a fine job. I'm just saying that I would not take that poll as indicative of any kind of sway or majority.
Yeah, but it kind of makes sense. Most Sonic fans skew younger, and the games that were most prevalent in the Sonic series when a lot of the teenage and younger 20s Sonic fans now were Jason games, and Sonic X was also a thing about that time. So it kind of makes sense that if you have mostly Zoomers, aka people born after the year 2000 on your subreddit, then they would probably gravitate toward the voice that they know as a kid. So I get it. It makes sense to me. But I mean, honestly, Jason's probably my least favorite voice for Sonic, but that's just me.
I think he's perfectly capable. I think it's just poor direction.
Probably.
And there are a lot of factors going into that, and I'm going to back away from that before I start insulting folks that might be still in power and kind of higher up the food chain. But I would really like to have seen the parallel dimension where the Sonic X era voice cast had different direction.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know. I think his Shadow is great. He's my favorite Shadow, but he's not my favorite Sonic. But that's okay. It's it's all personal preference. I think he's a fine Sonic. It's just
yeah, he's not a bad Sonic.
We got Roger Craig Smith now, so All right, here's one from Access. How would you cast Sonic characters in a storybook game set in Persona 5? That's not a storybook.
Are you saying that there's no story to Persona 5?
I am not saying that there's no story to Persona 5. I'm not saying that it is I'm saying that it is not a book.
But it still conveys a story. There's still characters with motivations. It has a plot with its own resolution. Is it not a story?
I mean, I guess it could happen, honestly, because Sega owns Atlas. So, yeah, okay, fine.
I mean, point. I haven't played Persona 5. I know diddly about it, so I can't even begin to speculate.
Apologies
there.
I would love to hear the Sonic and Persona music crossover.
Ooh.
Because, I mean, if there's one thing we do know about Persona at this point, it's the music. So I would like to hear it. But yeah, I mean, I don't really know either myself. So have fun with that down in the comments. Here's one from Batman69 LOL. How would you rate Shadow the Hedgehog? Raphael from TMNT. You can pick which incarnation you want. Jason Todd's Red Hood from Batman, and a Wolverine team-up crossover comic. Who answers the call? How would they feel about each other, and what do you think the dynamic of the team would be? Who do you think would be the perfect antagonist to go up against them, and once this is all said and done, would they be willing to work together again?
I'm going to title this Owl the Edge.
Very edgy. Raphael.
Edge of Glory.
Raphael is the least edgy of those.
Like, you really have to dig for a raft that really measures up to those. Goodness gracious me. I'm tempted to go with Rise of Raphael just for the comedy option.
Yeah.
Someone who is so out of sync with the others, it spices it up. But I could also go with original live action Raph, who has the anger, who has the drive, but he needs the direction that, he will lash out and he doesn't know what to do with that anger half the time. And if we have the more current incarnation of Logan, who's gone through the fires and back and has found a certain degree of peace and understands how to control that rage and focus it, he would find a kind of mentorish role to this troubled teenager. And on the other end of the spectrum, you've got Jason, who has a degree of control, but it isn't in any kind of wholesome way that I'm aware of. I don't know what Jason is like right now in the books, but he is, instead of having control of his anger, he has learned how to channel it and unleash it. Whereas Logan knows more of how to channel it and operate it properly until he has to do what he does. And he's the best at what he does. It's just not very nice.
Yeah.
So you could almost have this like good angel, bad angel thing going on with Raphael in terms of dealing with the antagonist du jour. And then Shadow's just kind of the flat, straight man anchor for them all.
Shadow's
just a one-liner every now and again.
Shadow's just kind of there.
That's how he is these days.
Well, okay. Idealized Shadow, not the current Shadow. What would he be like?
Oh, okay.
I'm making you think here.
Proper Shadow. I still imagine he'd be the most taciturn of the three.
Yeah.
He's not really one to work with others that directly or be, acknowledge even the team so much, but it would be through his actions that he speaks loudest. He strikes to catch ambushers, save somebody when they don't even realize it. Or, he takes a hit for Logan even though he knows Logan's got the healing factor. That kind of sort of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Dry one-liners here and there to kind of de-escalate any tension that's mounting between the other three.
Something about candy and babies. Yeah.
Cricket. Nobody understands cricket. You have to know what a crumpet is to understand cricket.
Ninja kick the damn rabbit. Do something.
As to who they would fight.
Oh. This, I don't know. Spoiled for choice.
We're just going to be... We need somebody... We need an antagonistic force that they can go whole hog on without any kind of moral compunction, because we want to root for these guys. Someone who's dedicatedly evil, like unabashedly, indisputably evil.
Yeah.
And has enough of a force that everybody gets a nice shot to show off how badass each and every one of them is. And is also fitting into that extremely 90s Al the Edge. So, Satan and demons.
All right. Whatever.
And I'm not even talking like anything remotely biblically accurate. I mean, like, they're cybernetic and at least one of them has a cape. And
So doom demons.
Yeah.
I'm down. And then Doom Guy is just there.
Yeah, well,
he shows up in the third act.
That's your sequel hook, man.
Hook. Yeah, that's right.
Raphael, we have to get the team back together again. The portal to Mars is open. We'll need at least a fifth member. Rip and terror until the job is done.
I would buy that. I'd buy that for $1. Only $1 though.
Jason Todd with the BFG.
Oh,
Doom Guy rips off Wolverine's arm and starts slashing people with the claws.
Oh no, but also, oh yes.
It writes itself.
Glorious. Oh, glorious. All right, here's one from Buttered Noodles. So are most of the members of the main cast Mobians kind of just from their own random villages on different islands? Of course, we know characters like Shadow's origin, but it's someone like SBO just from an island we haven't seen or something?
Apparently.
All right. They're just from random islands. Are any of them from the same island? Did any of them grow up together?
Not that's been established.
Nobody grew up because they were all just born into existence at their current age, and they've been that age ever since. I guess that's it. I guess that's how it goes. And we got a question from Cece. Purely hypothetical here about Elias and Max. Would Elias ever want to have Max's mental state restored just in the hopes that he could repair his relationship with him?
Ooh, that's some fertile ground for a bumper crop of angst.
Boy. Character with daddy issues? No.
Just in terms of virtue of wanting his father to be healthy and be able to spend the rest of his years comfortable, sure, Elias would jump on the opportunity, but he would also know full well that the minute Max is back up and running again, he's going to want to take control again.
Yeah.
And Elias is disillusioned enough to know that that's not a good thing. Like, this is something that I really wish we could have gotten into with House of Cards had it been the full arc, is just what Elias's relationship is with this man that he never knew. This devotion, where does it stem from? Is it purely out of an ideal of wanting to have a family and a father figure? Does he feel like he's obligated to feel something because they are of royal blood and, all the baggage that comes with that? At what point does he step away from all that and say, no, I have no history with these people. I accepted this burden just because my sister's cool. I can do things my own way. When does he make that step? And what sacrifices is he willing to make to go that far? And is it really, kind of sketchy of him to possibly pass by any kind of restoration of Max? Or is Max such a that we don't care? That would be fascinating to explore.
Mm-hmm.
I do not have a simple summation answer for you, because I feel like that needs to be actually like workshopped and worked out and like seriously explored. That's not a quick BumbleKast. Yeah, he totally would, or no, he totally wouldn't. No. That's a meaty hunk of plot that you can just sink your teeth into.
Oh boy, delicious, yummy.
Like, that's a plot with a side of mashed potatoes and gravy. Just
Go figure. They're talking about potatoes in the chat, right? Mashed potatoes. Well, are you sure you're not looking at the chat, Ian?
I am not.
Well. All right. Well, while we ponder how that would turn out, let's go ahead and take a quick break. And we'll come back with more on the BumbleKast. Let's go back. Here's one from Conga. A question for both of you. Have any of the characters' personality traits from the Sonic series rubbed off on you? I can't think of any specifically, maybe. I don't know.
I don't think so. I don't view these characters as inspirations or my imaginary friends. They are characters within a narrative that I work on. There is a degree of detachment.
Yeah, I don't think so for me either, really. Maybe like some of their quotes, one-liners, but not really anything like, No, I don't think so. Here's one from Dev. Do you think we could ever get characters like Mimic, Surge, and Eclipse could ever be introduced in the games? I think their powers are awesome, and it would be nice to see them implemented into the gameverse.
Mimic and Surge, maybe? I don't think anytime soon. Like, maybe one of the mobile games, if anything, but them, quite possibly. Eclipse, probably never, ever.
That's a shame, too. Eclipse is pretty cool. It'd be fun, but alas, here we are. Domino has a question. Slightly philosophical statement. Relating slightly philosophical statement to the Sonic series. Would you say this is correct?
Be nice. We appreciate everyone who supports the show, no matter how they do it. Also, yes.
No. Here's a question from Dove. After traveling the spirit world for some time, Uncle Iroh finds himself on Mobius. Well, it's not Mobius, but I know what you mean. Not one to be deterred by strange places, he decides to open up a shop called Green Tea Zone. Who among the cast, IDW and Archie, are regulars? Who does he share advice with? How quickly is Tangle asked to leave for calling it hot leaf juice? Do Blaze and Iroh team up to battle the Egg Nation? I kind of like this idea.
I believe it.
I enjoy this idea.
I mean, Tangle can't really leave. She's like the one employee. She's very adept at serving up multiple cups of tea with that tail of hers. Just whips it out there, and son of a gun, not a drop is spilled. She's really good at this. It's just, she calls it hot leaf juice, and it just makes that one eyebrow twitch. She disturbs his gentle, calm pool. Like, he is perfectly at ease until she says that one thing, and he can't falter because she's got a good heart. But I mean, It's Uncle Iroh, man. He's going to brew the best hot leaf juice you can find.
That's right.
Everybody's going to go there.
That's right.
Everybody can find something that they enjoy. Everybody can just chill out, and Tangle has a blast meeting all the people and flipping around the place and serving up tea. Nah, everybody's got a good time.
That's right.
Even Shadow's there with his MacBook trying to write his novel. Like, everybody's there.
Shadow has a computer? Shadow knows how a computer works? Shadow knows what a computer is? That's why it was so hard for him to find the computer room, I guess. Didn't know what it was. I thought.
Everybody has a momentary pause as Eggman comes in. They're like, oh, no, come on, man. Don't start a fight here. He's like, oh, no. This is neutral territory. Getting by. Piping hot. And, it's like the perfect space in the entire world.
Oh, that would be great. That would be wonderful. I feel like Iroh and Shadow would have an interesting dynamic. Like, Iroh would be like, yes, I knew someone like you on my world.
I can fix him.
If that's what he thinks. Yes. I love this one. All right, E200 Paragon has a question. Given that Frontiers has started to establish that all past games are now important to the lore, that got me thinking about how some of the oldest titles in the franchise fit into the Sonic timeline, such as Tails' Adventure. In that game, long before Tails met Sonic, he had crossed swords, or rather bombs, with the Battle Cocoa Empire, who were ravaging Cocoa Island in search of the Chaos Emeralds to conquer the world. Through Tails' ingenuity and a bit of luck, Tails has managed to drive off the belligerent birds and even defeats his new rival, Speedy the Hummingbird. Side note, it's never explained what kind of bird he is, but a hummingbird just makes the most sense. With this context in mind, my question is this. What do you think happened to the Battle Cuckoo Empire afterwards, and how would you reintroduce them into modern Sonic's world, if given the chance?
I mean, their species is right there in the name. They're all cuckoos.
Cuckoo.
Not like real-world cuckoos, but like weird Mobian versions that are just exclusively cuckoos. That have a wide variety of body types across all of them. Why? Because there's cuckoos.
They're related. They're related vaguely to the cuckoos of Zelda, in that if you beat one of them, they will all attack you.
I think the exception is Fukurikov. I think he was specified as an owl, because I think that's his name is supposed to be a joke. But anyway, when thinking of these older games, let me just kind of put this asterisk on there. Be prepared for some revisionary storytelling with some of them. I'll leave it at that. As for reintroducing them, that is super easy. They rebuilt and they're here to conquer again.
And they show up, yeah.
Like, that's it. They are bad guys. They are a conquering army. They're a bunch of jerks. They have a fantastic leader. Like, classic, modern, it don't matter. The battle cuckoos are just primed for usage. They haven't been overused. They have a great gimmick. They've got a great look. They are, I wish we could use them. So, no, they're super easy, whether it's classic, where it's like, oh, you beat us the one time, but we've regrouped and we've come back, or it's modern. We've been, rebuilding this entire time. Now look at our amazing fleet. It's super simple. They're very easy to understand. They're bad guy birds. Just,
I'm super into it. And then you got the, you got the Babylon Rogues you can tie them into. Yeah. Just a lot of things. A lot of things you could do. Needs to happen. Come on, Ian. Do it. Here's one from Galumba Broadcast. In Shadow the Hedgehog, the artificial chaos enemies have red markings overtaking the top of their head. The red texture looks much rougher than the rest of its head, and one spot on the front even looks like red is coming out of a dent. I was wondering, is it possible that the red area is a mutation caused by the black arms? Black arms have been known to cause mutations to certain life, such as the plants on Prison Island, and Black Doom does say that he took control of them in one of the later Ark levels. The soldiers in Lost Colony also refer to them as mutants, which seems odd for robots. So is there an official stance on this from Sega that you know of, or is this yet another case of explain Amy's sentient car?
Kind of makes you wonder if her car actually says out loud, beep, beep. I don't have an official answer or insight, no. I would want to take a look at those models again, because I don't remember that. But then again, I didn't look too closely when I was playing through. It's like, oh, the artificial chaos is blow them up. I also want to compare the models between the flashback stages and other stages on the arc, because it wouldn't make a ton of sense that they would be in the flashback stages because the Black Comet was gone by that point. And why would Black Doom sabotage the arc, which is supposed to be creating his, champion in 50 years? That doesn't add up for me. But after the fact, with the arc being, the one thing that can stop the Black Comet, that would make a certain degree of sense. That's a long way of me saying I don't know.
Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Here's one from Hearts 13. If all the freedom fighter organizations, yes, that includes the Resistance/Restoration, I'm still 90% sure that they're based off of the freedom fighters, from each of those universes met each other, what stories would they tell each other, and would they learn from each other and become stronger as a unity? Same question goes for each version of the Eggman Empire encountering their counterpart. Frightening.
I can say with certainty that the Resistance was not based off of any of the freedom fighter groups. The things I have heard about the production of that game, it would just blow your mind. Anyway.
We've heard some of them. Some of that got out there.
I will not, let's not go down that road because I don't want to confirm anything.
No.
But they are freedom fighter groups in spirit, to be sure. And it's hard to really compare notes one-to-one since, in Sat AM, Robotnik took over when they were all children. Whereas in Forces, he took over when they were all experienced fighters. Robotnik took over through a bit of trickery and the manipulation of established forces, whereas Forces, Eggman found the plot MacGuffin win button and just kind of hacked his way to victory. Clone copy a bunch of resources for free and just dump them on the enemy. That ain't really tactical. That's just overwhelming forces.
He cheated, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, that's
like
Eggman's
Freedom
brand.
Fighters, like the Freedom Fighters made their gains through years of growth and development and small guerrilla strikes, and ultimately Robotnik kind of overextending his reach and them capitalizing on it. Whereas Forces, it was the true superpower of teamwork in the end after 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much. Maybe I'm overthinking it. I mean, at your core, you have trusting in your allies and believing in the strength of those bonds and good ultimately triumphing over evil. There's some parallels to be had there. I think it would just be more of a cathartic release that they know that, across 2 dimensions, they still won. There's still a happy ending out there. Meanwhile, you have Eggman and Robotnik kind of sitting across the bar from each other going, what happened? We had this. We totally had this in the bag. What happened?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What if we, hear me out, what if we hit them with an even more overwhelming force? Well, is it powered by some kind of obscure arcane power? Yes, I like it.
Yeah, Eggman's nothing if not obvious. Oh well. Ichigo Laser has a question. Super Blaze and Burning Sonic? Darkspine? When? I love when heroes have to exchange powers and come to grips with them. How would you write a story where Blaze has to use Chaos Emeralds and Sonic has to use Soul Emeralds?
No. Brilliant Blaze and Scorching Sonic. You've got to keep that alliteration, buddy. Like, Blaze goes glittering fiery gold, and Sonic is like blue flame burning.
Heck
like, those spines are just constantly billowing flame. So dope. I want it so bad. I have pitched it multiple times across multiple projects. Just a simple premise of the 2 worlds are both in peril. Maybe they're going to fuse or something. It doesn't matter what the impetus is. The point is, you get all them emeralds together, and then through happenstance, they have to swap. And you get these awesome alternate forms that are just still equally cool. And you're like, yes, this is awesome. Make a toy of it. And it would be great. And I'm still going to find a place to use this. They aren't rid of me yet. I will find my opportunity.
They aren't rid of you. And not for lack of trying.
Honestly, the hardest part would be the alternate forms pitch, I think.
Yeah.
there are some parties that are very entrenched in this is how it is. We cannot deviate from that. And it just takes the right opportunity to sell them on the idea that no, it would be cool. Do it. So I'll keep banging that drum. We'll see if this happens.
This is a series that survives almost entirely on the rule of cool. Why would they be so stuck in their ways about this? It's weird. It's so weird. Oh well. Here's a question from Illegal Chow Fights. Power scaling. Oh no. Cheese is able to perform some impressive feats for a Chow, but in the Chow Races and Badnik Bases arc, it seems that Cheese is not that far above other Chow in terms of racing abilities. How powerful do you think that a Grandmaster Karate Chow would be?
Hard enough that you feel it if he would punch you with those little pudding arms, but keep in mind, there are different skill sets. Like, Cheese is obviously powerful, but raw strength does not equate to speed. A professional bodybuilder is not going to be winning the 100-meter dash.
That you know of. They might.
Maybe get enough inertia behind that much mass.
Maybe they're secretly the fastest runner in the world. They've just never tried it.
That'd be terrifying. Like, imagine the guy who played the Mountain in the last few seasons of Game of Thrones, booking it at you at Olympic speeds.
I mean, imagine Eggman cruising at you at Sonic speed. Terrifying. Terrifying. Scary.
Well, that's almost like watching an ostrich run. It's just a ball on legs.
Well, that's true. It's a good point. I guess it depends on the incarnation of Eggman we're talking about here. And we got one last thing from Cool Christy 01. Beat Sonic Adventure. Good job, Christy. Hi, Ian, Flynn, and Kyle. Can you please sing The Fastest Thing Alive on your show? And can you do it as good as Crush 40 and the Noisy Neighbors Band? I think the latter is no, we cannot.
But
we can sing it.
I can certainly sing it. And this time I'm actually going to cue up music so that I am with the proper tempo.
In key and on time?
Blue streak speeds by Sonic the Hedgehog. Too fast for the naked eye. Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic, he can really move. Sonic, he's got an attitude. Sonic, he's the fastest thing alive. Look out when he comes through. Sonic the Hedgehog. Don't doubt what he can do. Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic, he can really move. Sonic, he's got an attitude. Sonic, he's the fastest thing alive. He's the fastest thing alive. He's the fastest thing alive.
Perfect. That's maybe a little out of your vocal range, just slightly.
Just a tiny bit.
That's okay, though. It happens sometimes. Still a good job, though. Oh, that's going to be fun to edit. Is there an instrumental version of that?
My voice and cracked near the last falsetto.
Wait, there is an instrumental version of that, isn't there? Yes. All right. Well, with that, I guess we got a bunch of names to read before we get out of here.
Yep. Got to give a big thank you to all our patrons over at patreon.com/BumbleKast, Ko-fi.com/BumbleKast, and our YouTube members for supporting this show. Big thank you to Daniel H., Jennifer R., James K., John B., Robotnicum, Sam Cybercat, Samuel P., Torchbound, Mike B., Andrew D., Salutracat, Dave M., Noni, J. Frost, Coupling Crew 128, Duas Dizdin, Hero of Light 13, Professor Scruffy Matt, Chris A., Sony, Scurvy Pirate Hog, John M., Triforce Riku, Sonic, Ben Wolfsbane, Arc Fighter, Jib, Lisa M., Lee H.K., Twilords, Chaos Sonic 1, Stardust Spectre, Chevelle, Ink Things, Mixer17, Axis, Starlight Sec, Z Broadcast, Xanderoni the Painter, Jonathan D, Cameron H, Jolene B, Joshua S, Tick Tick, The Name is X, Solaris Stain, Godzilla, Nondal Nemrick, Alex KR, Ava Arctic Dove, Just a Mountain Soul, Quaggle Gaggle, Yuma221, Jay the Redneck, Jennifer H, Justin S, Dadler the Dalek, Angela V, Sonic Legacy, Alpha Mono Yukon, Jack the Animator, Tetsuya the Wise, Pedanti Cat, Hannah W, Venus, Omega Watt, Les, Daniel B, Red the Supernamic, Wildcard 717, Chad of the Stars, Endabin and Tails, Genzel, Wheelie Dose, Andrew BH, Sammy M, Public the Scholar, Derusiful, Miles the Prower, Navari, Exidel, Agent Kaz, Domo AU, For Sonic Fan, Rhythm and Tempo, Illegal Chow Fights, Pigdan 20, Preston M, The Marble Gardener, Noah M, E200 Paragon, Ozjam, Shimmy M, Kojiro Highwind, Awesome Caser, Curly Quill, Supersonic Fan, Radry Chase L, Aiden S. Morless, Smiley21, Sonic 84, Philip is Cold, Sterling Sonic, Rocco D, Conga Windskull, Supernova, Superior Pizza, Sonic Patch, The Golf, Omega Man 21, Thievius, Dominic the Raccoon, Planet Breezy, In Zephyr, Unity, Jason G, Nils, Subliminal, Gino the Puppet, Miggy Sawdust, Amazing, Miss Nazumi, SB My Fish Eats Rocks, The ID Card, Jonathan F, Hip Kid Brick, Levi C, Vlad, Sameth S, Dead Air, Lemur Chicken, Sheen, Adrian W, Knuckle Sandwich 87, Luke R, Michael P, Fang, Gel Pangolin, M Bluet, Miles Full, Prower, Cool Christy 1, Ashter, Alejandro 333777, Loose, Noah I, Lacey M, Lucky Lychee, Trocon H, Blaj High, Blast, The Phantomist, Spiral, Native Nerd 27, Salato 02, Ultra Guy, William M, Crabo, Raccoon Shinobi, No Person, Marcy H, Casual, Mr. Murder Bird, The Giant Murdering Bird, Noob 600, Silvermoon 2K1, Pit Viper, Icy Wolf, No Salt 15, Relaxed Hoodie, CS Lewis Fan, Sonic Mini 2099, Hedronus, Paley, Calico Paintbrush, Jihani S, Snowpair, Riley J, The Man of Multimedia, Foofy 93, Mr. Sniffy, Florian, Call Me Ryan, All Peachy, Onion Girl, Candy B, Jamal S, Wheels 282, Hitchhog, Meta Mode, Frost the Hobbidon, Danny the Light, Butter Noodles, Miles Power D, El Technopada, True Cosmic Digilab 79, Travis H, Hero Squad, Kaizen Amen, Hearts 13, Missile the Sandcat, and Tyler M.
Impressive. Very, very impressive. Incredible.
Thank you to all 207 of you. That's going to wrap us up for now. Be good to yourselves. Be good to each other, and we will see you next time on the BumbleKast.
207. How? Why? I guess I shouldn't question it.
Just be thankful.
Oh, I am. You've been listening to the BumbleKast, a co-production of Bumble King Comics and the KNGI Network. Original theme music composed by Ken Coda Snyder. Remixed intro by T-Lopes. Find out more information, along with podcast feeder links, MP3 downloads, and more at bumbleking.com and kngi.org. Also, I like how people are asking, is it starting or ending? We've been doing it this way for like a year. We've just started. Yes. We do the names first. Because
that is the most taxing of all of it.
Yes.